So, welcome to JG's Fight Talk. And with me now, I'm absolutely chuffed to have him on. I've got Kash Farooq. How you doing, Kash?
I'm keeping well, Joe. I'm keeping well. How you been, mate? You right?
Yeah, really good. Really good. Um, yeah, just busy times at the moment, to be honest, mate. I work at a school, so we're tying everything up coming towards the end of term.
All
Madness.
right. Where schools are finished up in Scotland, so I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
probably
Have
have
they
a month or
finished
so.
up there?
Yeah, they finished up about 2 weeks ago, so you probably have another couple of weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, they'll love that down here, mate.
Yeah.
But no,
I've been
Cash, what a career.
yeah,
17 fights, 16 wins, 6 knockouts.
yeah.
Quality, mate.
Yeah, I was. To be honest, I was lucky this where I ended up in my career. I was lucky where I obviously how my career worked out where I started from anyway, and yeah, to be honest, I went out with a loss, and well, not a loss, but I went out maybe without getting beat or stopped or like that. So I went out, winning. So that's the main thing for me. I was happy. I was happy. I was when I was a winner. That's the way I see it.
That's the tough Scottish attitude, that is.
Uh-huh.
But no, it's mad to think your debut was back in 2015.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and to be honest, I still remember my debut, and yeah, I still remember. Only started boxing in 2010, so it was within 5 years. I made my debut. So within boxing, I only took up boxing in 2010. Then within 5 years, I made my debut, and I think I only boxed for 11 years or something, 11, 12 years all throughout my career.
So what
And
what made you want to box? What was sort of because that's quite late
see,
on, isn't it?
yeah, but I took boxing up at 14 years old. And one of my pals took me down, it was a community center. He says, come down to the gym, just come down and you might like it. And that was it. And the guy that was doing the boxing, he was a fighter himself. His name was Bobby McDermott. And he was the one that introduced me to boxing. Well, he gave me a reason why I should box. Because obviously, you really don't know. When you're starting off boxing, you don't really have a clue what you it's just gonna take you anywhere. What you gonna do with it? And he was the reason. Like he gave me a reason why I should box. He's like, you can make a few quid, you can make a good career out of it, and this you can do. You can this can be a full time job, and it can give you a better life as well. So I was quite interested. But obviously, he gave me things you gotta be doing in life, keeping with the drink, drugs, and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? As obviously you're growing up at age of 14 to 21, maybe 22, it's quite difficult, even
Yeah.
as a young boy. And he obviously encouraged me, just keep at it, keep at it. And that was my friend took me to the gym. That's where it all started from. I just kept at it from there.
Yeah, mate. And as we say, what a career! As I say, it was against Derbyshire, wasn't it? For your debut, and then you had 6 more wins after that, and then
Yeah.
Scott Allen was your first title.
Yeah, that's right. And well, I boxed him in my first fight, in my third or fourth fight. I should have been a first Scottish title, but I think boxing politics came in the way. But I done my first 10 rounder within 10 fights, and I still remember it. And then within a couple of fights, I rematched him again, and I stopped him. And that was a British Eliminator I boxed him for, and the Scottish title. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's where my career started taking off from there.
I bet you absolutely loved winning the Scottish title. Are you still there, Cash?
You know what? You know what I did, and I didn't. Sorry,
That's all right, mate. You're back.
I yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to win. That's all that mattered to me, and keep progressing on, and I can make a few quid in boxing. I mean, that was my main aim to give financial secure in boxing. I just wanted to get a good stage where I can make enough money and be financially secure. You know what I mean? And that was my main goal. I know the titles came in the way, and I never really looked at titles, but I looked at just winning the fights, and that was it. Keep progressing on.
Yeah, yeah. As I say, it's because now you look at we look at those titles now. I say sort of the area titles, but
Yeah,
they're coming into the game a lot more now, aren't they? You know, the
yeah,
central areas, the Scottish areas, southern areas, all this sort of thing. They're all sort of coming back into the game now. The English title, they're all sort of have that more meaning, don't they?
no, they do. You know what? It's a step towards this. Could be your first. It's a 80 level fight. It's a step towards the British title, or even a higher level you want to get to. And it's a good wee thing for you, to win. See, it's a traditional route that I think every fighter should go down. Win the 80 level fight, then fight for the what do you call whether it's English or a Scottish title, then fight go on to fight with the British or a British eliminator, then fighting for whatever the next levels are. You know what I mean? And I think it's a good step anyway for any fighter that's stepping up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But as I say, you didn't just step up. Let's be honest. September 2018, Jamie
Yeah,
Wilson, you won him in
yeah,
the first round, British bantamweight title. People only dream of the British title, and you defended it against Butcher, Williams, and
yeah,
Winters.
yeah. That's right.
Superb.
Yeah, no, I was yeah, I was very I had a blessed career. You know what I mean? And I don't know within was the space in within a year as well. And yeah, I would say, you know what I mean, it was good fight. It was a good learning fight for me. Them they were right fights at the right stage for me in my career. You know, and I never
Yeah,
had a crazy amateur pedigree. I only had about 49 amateur fights. So these all the fights were the right fights at the right time for me, and they were all fights where they were all winnable for me. I wasn't fighting up against some world contenders. You know what I mean? They were just the right fights and at the right time for me. It was progressing on me to world stage where I wanted to go. These fights, you know.
yeah. Do you know what? Though, I'll tell you, you're so modest. Like some
Yeah,
people
I
go
know,
through
100%. Yeah,
their careers and they never even touch this sort of thing. And the speed that you did it in, I think that's the incredible thing. I know you had your tough fight against Lee McGregor, and it kind
yeah,
of just went to Lee McGregor, which
yeah,
was British and Commonwealth, wasn't it? But
yeah.
after that, you just stormed it in the end. Like our mentor, you came back with a fight against him, and then
I beat him.
Espinoza, you
Yeah,
got the international silver, and
yeah.
then Castillo, the international belt, WBC belt. So it's just incredible, mate.
Yeah, to be honest, when I signed my matchroom, that's where obviously my profile even go bigger. Because obviously boxing on BBC Scotland never. The only people in Scotland would probably know you, but BBC, the Zone and Sky Sports got my profile even bigger. Everybody's got to see my skill and what type of fighter I was, and them fights. Listen, the fights I boxed in with the matchroom, they weren't world class. You know what I mean? They were just they were below world class, or even you know what I mean, fringe world level. They were nothing at that level, but they were good line fights for me to progress on where I wanted to go. You know. And I wasn't just struggling. I was winning the fights, you know, I mean, quite comfortably. Apart from Espinosa, he pushed me, but I still thought I won the fight at the park. And I so there was these all fights were they were good learning fights for me to progress, you know, where I wanted to go, you know,
Yeah,
and I was obviously heading towards that down the road anyway.
yeah, no, definitely, mate. Someone's jumped in and they've put, "Love it, Joel. All the best to Cash. What a great operator."
Yeah, cheers.
Honestly, mate, I don't think you doubt yourself, but as I say, you're such a modest guy. You're very, you just down to earth. What
Yeah,
came along, and
yeah,
and you just rode the wave, and the wave was good. Do you know what I mean? It
yeah.
was so good to you.
I was to be honest, I wouldn't say I had a lot of luck in my side as well. You know, I mean, I was meant to fight Josh Whale in Doncaster. That's who I was meant to fight before Jamie Wilson. And obviously, I think he got injured, and it was his last defense that was up against me. And obviously, I was meant to fight against him, and that would have been a tougher fight to me. It was his last defense, and but I still think I would have beat him. But you're away from home, sometimes things might not go your way. But he ended up
Yeah,
getting the title, and that's how the title came up back up to St Andrews. And then I ended up fighting Jamie Wilson, and I stopped in the first round, and that's when my career started taking off. You know what I mean? And I started getting confidence. One fight led to another, and that was it. Before I knew it, you know what I mean? And I was fighting McGregor in Emirates Arena, and that fight basically just Eddie was watching as well, and that fight was the one that obviously he signed me on, and that's when that's when my career really took off. You know what I mean? And obviously, before retirement, I signed a contract with Eddie Hearn. That obviously it was life changing money for me anyway, and I just now got to get to the stage where I could be able to fight and secure myself. You know?
yeah. And as you said, I know we were talking about it before. The
Yeah.
tragic thing in January 22.
Yeah.
Obviously, you heard the news you didn't really want to hear.
Yeah.
Um, and what was it? The statement came out from St Andrews Sporting Club.
Yeah.
But
To be honest, I knew about this well before that. You know, I mean, you do your medical. I knew about that, but it was ongoing, and obviously I had to keep it quiet. And then I really found out in December, so I just had to keep it quiet. And I obviously announced it in January, but I knew this way back in December, so just kept it quiet until after Christmas and New Year. Then I can announce my retirement. But I was really retired way back in mid-November or early November. That's when I was really retired, which I knew, and my manager obviously knew, and a handful of people. You know, and I that was it. But I had to obviously keep it quiet, which was tough for me. Obviously,
yeah,
I was going. I was going to the gyms and people like that were looking forward to your next fight, and it was really tough, and obviously my family members knew as well, and so I just had to keep a brave face, and I had to keep attending. I had to keep going to the gym as well, because if I didn't
Yeah,
turn on the gym, people, where is he? Why is he not in the gym? Because I'm always in the gym as well, and obviously people start getting a wee bit, obviously, what I mean, that guy, why is he not in the gym?
yeah. And it must be so tough because you think your livelihood, that's your life, that's what you've been doing the whole time, and then all
Yeah,
of a sudden it's kind of just cut. But it's like I was saying to you begin with.
yeah,
We don't sort of look back at that moment. We look back at the career that you left the boxing fans, and
yeah, no,
honestly, mate,
100%.
we loved it. There's so many. There's people coming in now. Cash was a great operator, a real actual boxer, not like this influencer crossover nonsense.
I appreciate. Thanks very much. I appreciate.
People miss the technical ability, and you had that technical ability. You also had power as well,
Yeah,
which you didn't necessarily see in those lighter divisions, but you had
yeah.
some real heavy power in your hands for the weight that you were, and that's impressive, and it just
I
shows.
wasn't. I wouldn't really say I was a big puncher or anything. I'm not gonna knock you out with one punch. I had power that just to keep you off me. I mean, I've never had that punch where I can knock you out clean. You're out. I mean, I've not really done that. I've stopped people or to put them down and that, but I've not really knocked people out clean. I've not got
I
that
think
big
it's the
heavyweight
speed,
power.
though, isn't it? I think
I
you
speed.
used
Yeah,
to overwhelm, and I think because you were accurate with your punches, you were quick. I think that
yeah,
that overwhelms, and if you've got that, as you say, not knockout power, but you've got the
yeah.
power behind the punches to be
Right.
awkward, but you're
Yeah, that's
constantly
right.
going at someone. I think, yeah, you were the total package, mate.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks very much. You know what I mean?
So what's Cash up to these days? What are you doing
Well,
with
I just
yourself these
well,
days?
well, obviously, I picked my skills up in boxing. I just teach boxing now. I do personal training, and I was doing the amateurs just there, and they just break on the summer now. I do that throughout my day, and that's how I just keep myself busy. You know what I mean? With the personal training, that I train the amateurs at night time. So I'll see how long I'll keep that for the amateur side of it. And I'll just see how long I'll keep that. It's fight obviously it's no same as fighting. You know what I mean? It's no.
Yeah, yeah,
You think you do get a buzz when the boys win, but it's no. You don't get the buzz when you win yourself. And so you'll see how long I can keep this amateur. I'll keep this up for train the boys. You know what I mean?
yeah. But you're obviously still a boxing fan yourself, Cash.
You know what? It's you know what? See, when I was in boxing, I was wrapped right around it. I knew everything about boxing. I wanted to learn everything about it. And obviously, I was a boxing historian growing up as well. I knew everything. I knew everything about boxing, even the fight back in the 50s, 40s, you name it. I knew everything about it. And obviously, my trainers boxed in the 80s and 50s and 60s as well. So they used to sit down and tell me about stories about this fight and that fight. And I used to listen to them after training. And yeah, but now I do. I try keeping up the big fights, but I don't. I really don't. I just don't care. I don't keep as much interest as I did when I was fighting.
Yeah,
I try to keep much up with it. And yeah, this I don't keep up. It's not the same what I used to when I'm fighting.
yeah. Well, as I say, mate, you're doing your bit with the amateurs. I'm
Yeah,
sure that's major for them having a guy like you training them, and seeing what you did in your career. And
yeah,
yeah, you hold your head high, Cash. Honestly, mate. As I say, what you've left behind you,
yeah.
kids will aspire to have a career like you've had. So
Yeah,
keep
I
chin
hope
up,
so. But
mate.
I
You've
think
done
I think
great things.
the tough part is the probably dedication for any fire. I think you gotta keep at it, and we keep learning. Boxing obviously gonna get setbacks, but you gotta keep moving forward. You know what I mean? That's the main that's the main thing in boxing. You gotta keep moving and
Yeah.
learning.
You've got so much to give, mate. So
Yeah,
much to give. So much you can pass on as well.
no,
And
100%, 100%. Well,
as I say, it's absolute pleasure to have you on, mate.
no,
Before we go, I am going to chuck a prediction at you,
yeah.
just because we had a fight announced the other day. Joshua versus White, obviously, is going to be happening again. The second fight.
You know what? I'll probably go with This is just a guess. I mean, I've not seen Dylan or Joshua fight in a while. I think who's the Dylan White's last fight?
he
His last.
fought the same guy as Joshua, which was Jermaine Franklin, the American. So they both boxed him last. White got the majority decision.
I've not seen the fight, so I'm gonna go with a board. I'm gonna go with a prediction. Say Joshua again, maybe. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
depends where he's got left anyway, and so's Dylan White. You know, they are at the end of their career now, both of them.
Loser's got nothing left. Then do you think?
Nah, I wouldn't. It's whether they want to keep continuing on because they're still big names, both Joshua and Dylan White. They're still big names. They'll still bring a crowd in, but you know they've made plenty of money anyway, both of them. But Joshua doesn't.
Got you.
Joshua definitely doesn't need boxing.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
probably he can make a few. He can make a few quid outside of boxing anyway. But he's just he's a brand now. Whether he's probably selling clothes, managing fires, he's doing other stuff anyway, making money outside of boxing. And you can do public appearances, make plenty of money through that. So obviously, boxing's paying him the extra money where he's not gonna get by doing them
Exactly.
things. So, but it's depends what they want to do. You know what I mean? And I think if Joshua loses his fight, I would probably recommend he probably call it a day. You know what I mean? And just focus on life outside. You know what I mean? Building outside. You know. And Dylan
Yeah,
White, I'll
yeah.
probably say
No,
the same as well. Dylan White as well. You know, because I don't see
no,
the. It depends if they win the heavyweight title. Then that's different.
yeah. Well, we shall see what's ahead, mate. And
Yeah.
Kash, as I say, thank you very much for coming on. It's a pleasure
No.
to talk to you. And as I say, I've spoken to a lot of people about you,
Yeah.
and everyone speaks highly.
No. Cheers. I
There's not a
appreciate it,
bad
well.
word out there, mate.
No, thanks. I appreciate. I think I appreciate it a lot, Joel. Thanks very much, mate.
And honestly, keep up the good work, mate, and stay in touch, won't you?
No worries. I will. Take care, mate. All right. Bye, bye, Joel.
Thanks, mate. See you later. So there you go, Kash Farooq. What a top guy. What a career as well. 17 fights, 16 wins, 6 knockouts. He went out on a high as well, winning the WBC international belt. It's a shame that it came to an end in the way that it did, but he's now training the amateurs, doing what he's doing. I just hope he continues doing that. You know, he's great. He deserves to be in the boxing world in some capacity. And we just, pray he continues to do well in that. So thank you very much for watching. You've been watching JG's Fight Talk as always, but make sure you hit the subscribe button, check out the rest of the content and share this around. Thank you very much. Have some of this.